Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right, welcome into a Thursday edition of the JP Peterson Show. We are rocking and rolling from the Jeeves Law Group studio here in beautiful South Tampa. Another gorgeous, picture-perfect day. Great day to play baseball outside like we did last night, although the Rays lost 1-0. We got a great show for you once again today. I got lots to get into. Good morning to you, Tim Ham, from our Dallas affiliate, FanStream Sports DFW. What's up, brother?
Good morning. It's another beautiful 64-degree morning here in the DFW and the 214, as we say, and supposed to be clear skies all the way until about Saturday at noon when the tornadoes start hitting again.
Oh, you're getting another bout of those, huh?
Dude, that's the weather here. It's, as much as it rains in Tampa,
Tornado Alley.
we just get tornadoes. It's nuts.
Well, I had a very interesting night last night. You want to hear what I did last night?
Sounds like you had fun.
Yeah, we had a great time. It was an incredible event. Remember we had Carrie Urban on last week, and their operation. Oh God, I forgot the name of it because I'm an idiot. They help all of our special forces warriors. Incredible evening.
Operation Healing Forces.
Thank you, Operation Healing Forces.
Yes.
An incredible evening of support for our troops and our special forces, raised just in pledges in the room, $350,000.
Holy moly.
It was amazing. And I know a lot of these men that were giving and women that were giving, and it was just incredible. General Eric Carrilla got up there, Central Command, General runs Central Command here, SOCOM, at MacDill. He gave a speech and talked about some of the warriors that he has been in his command, and the stories are just they're literally unbelievable. He told the story of this one soldier named Cap, and I won't do the story justice. He did such a great job telling the story. I'll hit the highlights of it. Who did 7 to 8 tours of duty. Won every medal there is to win, bronze stars, everything there is to win. And on his, I think it was his 8th tour of duty in Afghanistan, was involved in a nasty firefight, and went out to grab one of his fallen comrades, while the Taliban is raining down machine gun fire on him, and caught a grenade in his right leg. And Cap was like so devoted to serving that he wanted to still serve, like in combat. Yeah. So he tried to rehab his leg for months and months, maybe a year, and could not. And then finally said, all right, take it off. I want a prosthetic leg. So got his leg amputated. This is also he could go back to combat.
So he could go back
with a prosthetic leg.
I didn't know they let you do that.
Only if you pass the tests. Only if you can pass the rigorous physical tests.
I know
of running with 100 pounds of gear a mile in under 5 minutes. Just some ridiculous number. All the rigorous physical tests that you have to test to that he already did to get in the Rangers. They said, I'm sorry, you have to do it again, because your team depends on you being able to do this stuff. So you have to, as we in other parts of the military reduce the physical demands and whatever. Right. But for him, he had to do this, and all that. And so with a prosthetic leg, he did it all those things, jumping out of an airplane and all these different ridiculous physical tasks that you have to do with a prosthetic leg. Went back into combat. More tours of duty. And, he said at one point he was in another firefight and his leg got shot off, his prosthetic leg. So he carried a spare in his backpack. I mean, you can't make this stuff up.
I remember seeing this on some news magazine somewhere, or maybe it was online. I saw this guy's story. Yeah.
You cannot make this stuff up.
And the only thing going through my mind is I'm listening to this, and as he was telling the story, as whatever I was watching, you got to see it live. That's awesome. But I was as I was watching it, I'm like, look, I'm all for sacrificing for your country and, doing everything you can do. But this guy literally gave everything twice.
Yeah.
And he welcomed it, like he asked for it. Those people are just wired differently, and that's incredible.
And he quoted Ronald Reagan, when Reagan was doing a speech at D-Day, I believe it was, in Normandy. Mm-hmm. It's like, where do we find these men?
Yeah.
Where do we find these men? Well, right. There are farmers, there are high school football stars, they're your neighbors, and they live amongst us, and they're just the most amazing people in the world. And in the saddest part of this story, and General Carrillo got choked up when he said it, is that through all this, all those rat bastard terrorists that tried to kill him couldn't get him. Yeah. Couldn't get him because his love for duty and country was so intense that he would not die, and he would not let his comrades die. But the strain of war and the horrors of war and having to return home are such that trying to reacclimate yourself into a civilized world is very hard. And our soldiers deal with this all the time. And they do not get the support that they need. And that's why we have to raise money and do the special things that we did last night for these incredible warriors. And Cap ended up taking his own life. And it's, because it's so hard to come back from that and deal with the rigors of life that after you've been through things like that. So yeah, Operation Healing Forces, that is, Carrie Urban, she is the CEO. She did a tremendous job last night, as she did on the show. And she said she got a lot of response from our podcast that she came on because they shared it across theirs. And so happy to be just a small part of the success of this event, a very small part. But we just implore you, Operation Healing Forces, whatever you can give, please give. And to help
better cause.
It helps, the families, after these heroes have perished and given the ultimate sacrifice, the families have to go on. And, the money that they get is not really enough. So we have to do things for them. And it's just the stories of these heroes is really incredible. So I just implore you, Operation Healing Forces, please give if you can, time, money, whatever it is. So that was the keynote address last night. The quote entertainment was the four athletic directors from USF, Michael Kelly, Florida State, Michael Alford, from Miami, Dan Radakovich, and from the University of Florida, national champion Scott Strickland. We got the biggest cheer, obviously, because of lots of Gators there celebrating as they should. But it was a fascinating, and Corey Alexander from ESPN, who I chatted to for a little while, just a wonderful, wonderful man. I told him, I used to call your games back in the day when I was working for FSU radio. He was a hell of a player for Virginia. Yeah. And he really dug into the kind of the X's and O's of what these athletic directors are dealing with in this crazy NIL world, transfer portal world that we live in. So I want to touch on some of the things that they said, but also I had an incredible opportunity to talk with Michael Alford, Florida State's athletic director. In fact, we went up to the roof, just the four of us, me, Scotty Fitz, Brian Fasulo, and Director Alford, and had a couple drinks on the rooftop bar at the JW Marriott. And we had a fascinating conversation for about an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Wow.
What a great man. What an incredible man. And I've relayed many times the story of on this show of the role I played, and I learned others when he got the job. They originally were going to give that job to a guy by the name of Vince Tyra, who was the athletic director at the University of Louisville, and the guy was a complete fraud. He got the job under really odd circumstances in Louisville, ran that program into the ground, and FSU almost hired him. And when it was announced that they were going to hire him, people like me and other coaches were getting calls like, hey, you guys are making a huge mistake here.
Tap the brakes.
Yeah, tap the brake. And Alford was the guy who was running Seminole Boosters, who was considered to be the guy that was going to get the job. And this guy kind of came out of nowhere, and everybody's like, where is this guy? And there was some shenanigans going on there. So, there was when it was announced, and there's like a 72-hour cooling off period once the job is offered where either side can rescind. And so this response was not just from me, but others, calling the school and different leaders at the school and the president's office and everywhere else saying, Mike Norvell and everybody else saying, hey, not that this guy's a bad dude. He's good friends with a friend of mine, this Vince guy, but he just wasn't the man for the job. Mike Alford had a resume 10 times better and was the man for the job without question. But it was strange that, that whole thing happened and why it happened. And it was a crazy story. But anyway, I told him my side of that story. And he's like, yeah, I've heard a couple of those. So I'm just glad I got the job. And I think he's doing a hell of a job. He really is at Florida State. And he really broke it down for me, this house settlement, which I've been trying to understand what it is and how it is, but he really broke it down for me in some really basic pieces. And I'm going to share some of that with you. There's a lot of stuff we talked about last night that I'm not going to share, but just the X's and O's of what he told me. And this is stuff he said publicly too at the event, but not as much in detail. So basically this house settlement is going to give, they're going to have $20.5 million to divide among all their athletes. So, and I thought, well, okay, that's great, but the NIL will still continue. Yeah. It will continue, but it's going to be different now. So, like, he used to work for the Cowboys, by the way, for many years. Michael Alford worked for the Jerry Jones and the Cowboys, lived right near where you are. And so he knows a lot about the business side of marketing deals, right? And there's, in the NFL, they do these marketing deals, to, basically endorsement deals. Deloitte comes in, an accounting firm, and they kind of put a value on what, if we hire Tony Romo to represent us for this is what the value will be. This is what the clicks will be, blah, 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 blah. This is what kind of advertisement value you're going to get out of it. And so it's a quantitative analysis, like, okay, this is the number. And so and they're going to do the same with athletes now in college. So a booster that, has a car dealership can't just say, hey, I want to give Nico $10 million and he needs to come sign autographs once at the auto dealership. Well, that's not commensurate. Like Deloitte would look at that. That's only worth about $1,000. That's all you're going to get. So these haywire booster stuff that's going on is no more. So that's it. Now you could still do NIL, but it's going to have to be commensurate to the value. So a booster can't just throw out because they want this kid. He's going to have to do something for it, and he's going to have to produce the clicks, the advertising value for it. So that's going to drastically reduce what players are going to get. So now the general managers of every school that are running football programs, they're going to divvy it up by program. Like, you get X amount, you get X amount, you get X amount based on the revenue you bring in. So, I think he said 77% of it's going to go to football, 15% to basketball, and then on down the line for the revenue producing sports. That's where the 20.5 revenue sharing million is going to go out. So everybody's going to have that much to spend. So in a sense, it's kind of a salary cap. Right. So there's not going to be huge. Now, there's obviously, if you're the quarterback at Notre Dame, your NIL deal is going to be worth more, because you have more exposures. But you can't use, like, when you go do an autograph signing, you can't use your Notre Dame markings. Or if you do a Instagram thing, you can't use the logos from, the ACC, the Big 12, SEC. Right. You can't use those things unless you pay for it, unless your marketing deal, works out for that. So, you see NFL players that do deals, do a commercial or something for Skechers, and they won't be wearing, a Dallas Cowboys jersey, but they'll be wearing a shirt that kind of looks like it. But you can't use the official marking. So
it'll say that. Dallas and be the Dallas blue color or something.
And who Tony Romo is. So whatever. Right. It's a bit of a difference, but and so these deals will be valued and quantified. So they're not going to be these crazy things that are going on now. So there's going to be a little bit more guardrails. Now, will like in the old days where there'll be stuff funneled under the table? Yeah, probably. How is that going to be governed? I don't know. I don't know what that's going to be, but they'll probably return to somewhat of the under the table stuff than the over the table stuff. That's just human nature. But be that what it is, at least it won't be institutionalized. Huge NIL deals that don't really are not really NIL deals. So that's a very interesting distinction I was not aware of. So I think that's going to take care of a lot of the issues of guys jumping ship for more money. Now, another school, if they really want to spend a lot of their NIL, just like a salary cap, you want to spend $10 million of your, $17 million that you're going to put towards your team on a quarterback, you can do that. You can outbid somebody. I guess you can do that, but that would be kind of silly. I mean, that would be kind of silly. You need to build your team. So it's not going to stop the money wars, but I think it is going to calm the waters dramatically. Right. So I think that's good. So there's going to be some guardrails in place in this House settlement that I think are going to be good. Now, what about the transfer portal? Well, that's not really part of this House settlement. That's something that the conferences and the reason the transfer portal is open is because of legislation, because they didn't make these rules fast enough or good enough. So the courts have said you can't keep players from transferring. So that happened in the court. How you change that? How does the NFL keep players from moving? You have to have something that's collectively bargained. And right now, nobody has a solution for that right now. So that's going to be a part. Now, there are other ways to affect transfer portability. One of those ways is what's happening right now with Nico, right? The cautionary tale. So players, eventually players will learn that transferring 3 or 4 or 5 times isn't helping them. It's not helping them. In fact, it's making it worse. You're not getting any continuity in your program, and it's making college football worse too. It's like it's done to college basketball. When teams stay together, they play better football. They play better basketball. The product is better. Like you look at Florida State last year, that was a product of a lack of continuity and some bad choices in the talent that they brought in. And so that hurts the business. That hurts the product. So I think whether it's, conferences can make rules, and if everybody gets together in the collective and makes certain rules, that will help. It might be challenged in the court, so they may have to find a way to overcome that. But the athletic directors know that, and the powers that be know that this portability issue has to be addressed in some way. Otherwise, it's really going to kill college football. So I think that's the next big thing that they have to work on. So the players are going to get paid as they always should. They're going to share in the revenue as they always should have. So now the next thing is portability, and they got to find, and that may be something that has to be collectively bargained. Maybe the players are put into a union and they agree to this to be part of the union. There's a couple creative ways to do it, but right now it's going to be, a lot on the coaches. The coaches can say, look, if Nico doesn't have a place to go, like, I don't want to, I don't use the word blackballed, but if players start getting blackballed, they're not going to do it.
Yeah.
But the problem is there's always going to be one. There's always going to be one coach out there who's like, damn, I don't have a quarterback and I got money to pay Nico. My job's on the line here. I'm going to pay him. I'm going to bring him in. How good's he going to play for you? How long will he stay?
Yeah.
Coaches will learn. Coaches will learn how this works best. I think it was Scott Strickland said last night. He brought up a stat that of the 4 college football teams in the semifinals, I think I might be getting this wrong. They averaged 7 transfers each.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. When you look at Florida State, I think they had 35 transfer portal players last year when they went 2-10.
Wow.
So yeah, we're learning that. Yeah, guess what? Continuity wins. So, but transfers can make a huge difference. Obviously, we've seen that very much so. So the key transfers. So I think, as the waters calm, players will learn at transferring. The grass is not always greener. Nico, it's going to be a very, very public cautionary tale in that regard. That he's I don't know where he's going to end up. I think I saw somewhere that there was already a team that he was lined up with. Did we hear the name of that team? I think Tulane had been mentioned. A couple places have been mentioned. But if he goes there and it doesn't work out.
I can tell you what I'm seeing reported this morning.
Okay.
By a couple of places. Now it's just being reported. It's not confirmed, but it's UCLA.
UCLA. Okay. Going back to the West Coast.
Yeah. And reportedly for not anywhere near the $4 million he wanted back in Tennessee.
Right. So he's going to a worse situation for much less money. Nice job. Nice job. Way to go, Dad.
Throwing away everything you've built.
Agent Dad.
At Tennessee. You know, you'd have been, I mean, and I guess you're going to the Big Ten from the SEC, but you're going to the Big Ten on the West Coast. Man, there's no way that's a win for him at all.
No.
Or for college football.
And let's see how it works out. Now, I did see Urban Meyer say something that I thought was interesting. You know, I'm not a huge Urban Meyer fan, but I thought it was interesting because I had not looked into what Tennessee's quarterback situation was. But from what he said, their backup left last year or this year, you know, knowing that he wasn't going to play in front of Nico because Nico as a freshman played and he was entrenched. So his backup already left and the guys behind him are not very good. So either Josh Heupel, Tennessee head coach, has to go find himself a quarterback in the portal, which just opened up again.
Yeah.
Or they're going to suck. And all those
Maybe
Tennessee
Josh
fans,
Heupel suit up.
Yeah. And all those Tennessee fans that are like, yeah, coach, you show them. You show them. When Florida comes in there and whoops their ass 50-7. Yeah. What are you going to be saying then, Tennessee fans? Where's Nico? Where's Nico? I mean, and you're not going to be saying that. I get it. And I'm not picking on you, Tennessee fans. This could be any program. Any program this can happen to. So I don't mean to pick on Tennessee fans. I love Tennessee. But
I mean,
but he's right. He's right. The fans will be going, well, what are we doing? Right? Well, we took a stand and we didn't pay Nico. Well, maybe we should have paid him. Maybe you should have.
You're setting up yourself and setting up all of college football for a horrible precedent if you pay him. It's a catch-22. And hopefully those fans that are on board now and praising Heupel and praising the program for this are going to be remembering, like you said, when they're 1-7 in the middle of next year.
Yeah.
And think, but it's best for football.
Yeah. You think
all
that's
right?
what they're going to be saying, Tim? Is that what you think they're going to be saying? Are they going to be saying, fire Josh Heupel?
I don't give a crap about Tennessee one way or the other. If they're good, great. If they're not, so what? But I mean, I'm applauding this move, obviously, like most people are and most fans are. But yeah, when they're 1-7 next year, all you Tennessee fans, and one of my best friends here is a big Tennessee guy over at 105.3 The Fan here in Dallas. So maybe we need to get him on the show and just say, as a volunteer, how are you going to be next year when you're 1-7 or 2-6 or whatever you're going to be? I'd love to hear that.
Clay Travis, big Tennessee fan, right?
Yeah.
You know, he's everybody's hyping it up. Oh yeah. You know, and then the other part of that is, okay, so what are you going to go in the transfer portal and steal some other team's quarterback? How would you feel if the next starting quarterback for Tennessee is Byron Brown, USF fans? And don't think they ain't knocking on the door, because they are. Right? They are. And that's what's going to happen. They'll go Tennessee. And if you're Byron Brown, SEC, $2 million. Bye, Felicia.
Yeah. Bye, Felicia. Take Karen with you.
Yeah. I mean, and I don't, and USF fans are like, you shut your filthy mouth. That's just the reality of where we're at. And you're going to say, you should not have done that, Byron Brown. Listen, Byron has been taken care of from the NIL situation, from what we've been told. Right. He's very happy. He loves it here. He's loyal. He's an awesome kid. We've had him on the show. He's fantastic. Yeah. I hope he doesn't go anywhere. But me saying it is not going to bring it into existence. Trust me. Josh Heupel is looking at the list right now
Yeah.
and trying to find himself a quarterback. So
yeah, I don't know anything about what their roster looks like quarterback. I don't know how deep they
I'm
were.
just going by what Urban Meyer said. I could be totally wrong, but that's what
Yeah.
Urban Meyer said. So, but I mean, and I'm just speaking conceptually anyway, right? We're speaking conceptually anyway. So it sucks, and it's bad. It's bad for college football. And I'm not sure who said it last night, but one of the athletic directors said, "I know it feels crazy, but college football is going to survive. It's not going away." And that's true. It's not, but fans are going to lose interest, and it can happen really, really quickly too. So
Right.
I would be very, very careful as to, if this madness continues on for any length of time, if this same system, and with the House settlement, as Michael Alford explained it to me, I think it's going to make a huge difference. I really do. If I'm understanding what he said correctly, I think that will calm the waters tremendously. But that said, the portability is still the big issues now. It's guys just transferring all over the place and free agency, 3 times a year. That's not sustainable. That will kill college football. So I hope that they're a little bit more, there's a little bit more sense of urgency to that, because I believe it will. I could be wrong. I mean, college football has been around for a long, long time. It's a very powerful entity. It's like saying the NFL is going to go away. It's not going to go away, but it could take some,
Right.
it could lose a huge fan base and lose its luster and, ruin it for a lot of fans. I think a lot of fans are already very disenchanted about what's going on. So
By the way, you want to feel old real quick again? Like I often throw these sports references out there. Who's a quarterback on the roster for the Tennessee Volunteers for the last 3 years that I had no idea?
Who?
Navy Schuler, son of Heath Schuler.
Navy? That's an interesting
His
name.
first name is Navy. His whole name is Navy Heath Schuler. I don't know why he's named Navy, but obviously he's a legacy at Tennessee. But I will tell you, he's been there since 2022. I don't know that I've ever seen him on the field or even knew he was there. And he was issued the number 21, which isn't a good sign for a quarterback.
Yeah. Maybe it's like the Herb Street kid going to Michigan 0-star.
Right.
You know what that is?
Yeah.
I
thought that was interesting, though. That's a blast from the past there. Heath Schuler, former Washington Redskin at the time.
Yeah. He had a hell of an arm, though. He
played for the Saints, too, didn't he?
Throw that ball over them mountains. Rick said, JP just said USF quarterback isn't freaking going anywhere. Now starting for UT.
Oh, great. He ain't effing leaving, Rick.
Oh, my Lord. What are you guys up to in the comments today?
I feel like we've been kind of neglecting the comments this week. We've been so busy with stuff.
I know. We apologize, but not that much. John Hill says it's also National Kickball Day, one of the best elementary school games ever. Oh, dude, don't get me started on kickball.
I loved kickball in elementary school.
Oh. And
I always aimed for the pitcher's face. Every single time. I never hit it because I wasn't good, but that's where I was going.
That's a Tim Ham thing right there every time. No,
even when you needed to bunt to get a run home, I was like, screw it. I'm trying to hurt somebody.
There were times when I took, I'm going to brag a little. I was an all-pro at every sport in elementary school. I dominated. Dominated. Did not matter what the sport was. I dominated. Hollywood Hills Elementary, I should be on the freaking Hall of Fame wall. Kickball, softball, ring around the rosy, capture the flag. It didn't freaking matter.
Hokey pokey. Were you All-American hokey pokey?
Mayday pole dance. I was outstanding at everything.
Of course.
Bring it on.
What happened with golf?
I don't think we had golf at Hollywood. I don't think that was part of PE.
Okay.
Yeah. I wasn't very good at pull-ups, though. I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I never passed the physical fitness test because of the pull-ups. Because, I was a little heavy in my early days.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had a little chunky.
I got heavy later.
I was a little chunky. But I could play. I could play all those sports. Kickball was awesome, though. Kickball was awesome. Yeah, I could blast that thing. But anyway, we digress.
Loved it. Happy National Kickball Day, John.
Thank you for getting this show off the rails when we're doing these great deep dive analysis into the house settlement.
Yeah.
The kickball throws us off. All right,
let's serious here. Everybody falls apart.
I know, right? So we got some interesting things on the show today. Evidently, Ryan Bass, sideline reporter of our Rays.
JP's making more enemies over at the Rays.
He's taking some shots at you, boy. And I did reply to him this morning. I did post something, but I took it down because I think I was a little mean. I wasn't mean. I was trying to be funny, and I think it came off as mean. And I don't want to be mean to Ryan. I like Ryan. He does a great job. But he kind of came at me a little bit.
Doesn't he work for the Magic, too?
I don't know if he does. Paul Porter works for the Magic, or did work for the Magic.
I think he used to work for the Magic. I think that's where I know Ryan Bass from. Is from.
He might have, yeah. And then I think he got a full-time gig. He used to be a news anchor here in town.
Yeah.
But no, I like Ryan. I think I do recall him coming after me during COVID about vaccines and stuff when I was on the radio, and he's telling me how great the vaccines were and stuff,
Ryan,
and how great masks were. But so I kind of had to set him straight on that.
Masks are great if you want to rob somebody.
Turns out I was right on that as well. And yeah, so he kind of came after me a little bit, and so I took it down, but I might put it back up.
JP wussed out. Look, guys, I told JP.
I did kind of wuss out. I ain't gonna lie.
I got nothing to lose here.
I didn't mean it to be mean. I thought it was funny. And then when I reread it, I was like, maybe that's not funny. He might not take that the right way. So I did. So I took it down.
You should have just put LOL after it. Then it's all good.
I did. But some people, people are sensitive.
It's like the old saying that if you just preface anything with no offense, but then you can literally say anything because you're prompting that it's no offense to you, but you're a complete moron.
Respectfully,
you're an idiot.
Respectfully, may I disagree? I don't calling him an idiot. I think Ryan does a great job. I really do.
I just meant in general when you say that, yeah.
But he's coming at me about St. Pete is a great location for the baseball stadium.
There's no way he actually thinks that.
Oh yeah.
Nobody thinks that except Stu.
Yes, he does. Oh, yes, he does.
How can someone honestly think that?
And then one of his cohorts is like basically calling me a racist, too. So we'll get into that. That's a nice little tease, right?
The same people who think that St. Pete is a good location for a baseball stadium are the same people who think that boys belong in girls' sports. There, I said it.
There might be a correlation there.
All right. Come at me, Ryan. I don't know you.
So, with that said, we will take a break. By the way, if you guys have any questions about the house settlement, I did learn a lot last night. I'm not saying I'm an expert, but yes, Director Alford was very, very kind with his time last night and was very. And by the way, we'll be coming on the show. Said anytime he'd love to come on. We are going to have a renewed presence of Seminoles here on to talk to a lot of those folks last night. And yes, we are going to do that on this show. But we will come back with the Ryan Bass tweet at me when we come back. We're brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group, by the way, JEEVESLawgroup.com, the JeevesLawGroup.com. That's where you go to get in touch with the great folks over here at the Jeeves Law Group studio that we love so much. They are local, they are trusted, and they get results. If you're in an accident, don't go with one of those big, huge firms. You'll just be a number. Knowing the local legal landscape matters. So go with the good folks at the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVESLawgroup.com. Non-attorney spokesman, Officer St. Pete, Tampa, back in 3. Spring means a time of renewal and Rays baseball. And the folks at Italiano Insurance want to welcome the Rays to Tampa and remind you it's time to renew those insurance policies with the now famous Italiano Insurance Checkup. Let the experienced and friendly agents shop your policy for the best price and coverage. Famous for saving me over $1,000 on our auto insurance last year and over $500 on our homeowners. Now that's a grand slam. Might as well get a double play by adding flood insurance and business insurance to your portfolio. Costs less than you think, and trust me, you do not want to risk your home or personal wealth. that's a big whiff. So step up to the plate and call 813-877-7799 and chat with the all-star agents at Italiano Insurance. 813-877-7799 or go to italianoinsurance.com. Go Rays! JP here for Riveters, our new official sports bar and grill of the JP Peterson Show. And just like our show, no BS, no corporate chain feel, just amazing, authentic folks serving great comfort food in a casual atmosphere at unheard of prices. Riveters is located just south of Raymond James and Steinbrenner Field on Dale Mabry, walking distance to the park. So free parking, great place for pregame and postgame. Let's talk about fresh food. Nothing is frozen. Burgers, wings, prime rib, roasted fresh daily, never frozen. That makes a huge difference. The mahi, the salmon, also super fresh. All our sauces are original recipes made in-house. Our Warhawk chili and fully loaded potato soup is made fresh in-house. It's the best food anywhere, served by people who actually care. Riveters on Dale Mabry, just north of 275, just south of where the Bucs and Rays play. We'll see you there. Are you looking to renovate your home, rebuild after the hurricanes, or build your dream home from scratch? Well, let me tell you about my friend Jason Fawcett and On-Site Construction. They have over 1,450 satisfied clients, 25 years of experience, over 500 designs, and a talented team of over 40 construction professionals. They believe building something exceptional begins by truly focusing on all the details, even the smallest ones. We understand that construction can be a daunting process, and we're here to make it as smooth and stress-free as possible. Quality is non-negotiable at On-Site Construction. We use the finest materials, employ the most skilled tradespeople, and adhere to the highest industry standards to deliver a product we're proud of and that you're going to love. Our project management is meticulous with a focus on completing projects on time and on budget. Your happiness is our primary driver. So give us a call at 813-579-5789 or check out our incredible website at onsiteconstructionfl.com.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
Oh, the plot thickens. Twitter is such a wonderful place. I always have to say Twitter because when we say X, it still sounds stupid. Welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the great folks at Riveters. Just had another happy customer that stopped by Riveters last night on their way to the game, and they put up some great pictures of food. I retweeted it at Riveters, and they said they had a wonderful time, and the service was amazing, and the food was, like we said, awesome and really reasonably priced, which is a big deal these days. So we've gotten so many of these Twitter responses. So when you go to Riveters, please put something on Twitter, take a couple pictures of the food, tag us. We'd love that. I really, really appreciate you guys doing that. Might even send you a new hat. That's what we should do. I'll send them a hat.
There you go.
I'll DM them. Send them a hat for putting that up. That's a good idea.
Absolutely.
Great thinking.
We got shirts too.
Marketing. Yes.
By the way, John Hill, I do have your hat and your shirt in a box ready to ship to you. I just have to get it to the shipping thing.
Yeah, he asked me about that the other day at the Lightning game.
I do have it. It's in a box. It's actually right behind me over here.
He's our fan of the month.
He was. Yeah,
our fan of the month.
He's getting a shirt.
Yeah. So if you want to be a fan of the month, comment in our section. Call me names. Say something terrible about Tim's beard, and you become fan of the month.
Maybe you should send a shirt and a hat to Ryan.
So Ryan, I should. Well, he doesn't wear hats. When you have salad like
that's
that,
true,
you don't put that. You know,
just like
that
Johnny.
That hair of his.
Johnny always bitches.
That was
y'all aren't wearing your FanStream Sports hats on the show. Well, you never wear a hat. Well, I have hair. Touche, sir.
That's right. So, that's one of the things I put in the post that I deleted. I said, I said, I love your work and your hair is amazing.
No,
I did.
That's awesome.
I did. And I said, because I think he does great work. I said, your hair is amazing. But I know that's why. But I said, how are you enjoying the outdoor baseball? Well, summer is coming, and that may not be very good for your hair. It may not stand up like that. You may need to reapply product during the game when it gets hot and humid. That's why he wants that indoor stadium. I don't blame him. Can't have hair like that outside.
No.
It's just not going to work. And I said, don't worry. I can just put a cap on because I have no hair. So thinning at best. But he does. He's got great salad. That is great salad. No question.
I don't trust people with good hair. Feels like
really
traded their soul for something else.
That's mean. That's me. So you saying that about your boss, Johnny Gerber? He's got fabulous hair. You don't trust him?
I know he's traded his soul for a few things. So no question on that.
All right. So here's the deal. So on Twitter, some gentleman by the name of Dan Clark tweeted out with a panoramic view of Marlins Park down in Little Havana, which is a beautiful park, by the way, in the retractable roof. Man, I wish we had that.
I saw this post, yeah.
Except for that Art Deco thing they used to have. They still have that stupid fish, the Art Deco thing, whatever. Anyway. He says just 7,324 fans watched the Marlins versus D-backs last night at Lone Depot Park. The Marlins entered the game over 500. The weather was 79 degrees with clear skies. MLB has a big problem in Miami, he says. So I said, this is why MLB and Rays baseball fans dodged a bullet when Stu didn't have the money to do the deal in St. Pete. Location is everything. The Marlins are in a bad neighborhood with nothing around the park in the south end of the market. That's why it's so critical to build in Tampa in the middle of the market, close to Orlando and Growth East. So that was my tweet that rankled Ryan Bass.
That made him angry, huh?
It made him angry. Not angry. But he said,
angry
for the record
on it.
For the record, dash, JP, dash.
Oh, come on.
I'm not sure the last time you've been to downtown St. Pete, but the area around the ballpark is booming with bars, restaurants, coffee shops. Oh, darn it. Coffee shops, music venues, condos, apartment buildings. Really? There's 3 massive luxury apartments going up 0.3 miles from the Trop currently. This just doesn't compare to Little Havana. But what do I know? I just live across the street from the Trop and grew up in Miami going to Marlins games. Wow.
Oh, you know what? I have no retort. You win. You win. You talked me into it.
I clearly touched the nerve. So, first of all, Ryan, respectfully.
With all due respect.
I said you did great work. You do great work. I really enjoy your work. And I don't know sure why you coming at me like I'm some uninformed rube on the subject.
Right.
Because I have lived and worked in Pinellas County since 1997. I don't live there anymore, but I did at that time. Mm-hmm. I worked at Channel 44, covering your Rays since their birth, long time before you got here. Not only do I know about St. Pete, now I was just there this weekend and at the beaches for the All-Star event, which was fantastic, by the way. We missed you. But yes, I've spent many days, weeks in downtown St. Petersburg. I am fully aware of the growth of downtown St. Petersburg. I love Janice Landing. I love all the Vinoy area, all of it. It's beautiful. And go down there often. Go down there very often. So I'm very aware of it. Okay. So, and I was not comparing St. Pete to Little Havana. My point was location. The Marlins Park is failing because, as I said, it's in a terrible neighborhood. And by the way, for perspective, I grew up going to the Orange Bowl. So I know that neighborhood very well.
Right on the same spot, right?
But I'm not an uninformed rube as to this. Right? So I also know Miami very well because I went to the Orange Bowl. And while you were, quote, growing up going to Marlins games, you were going to a terribly located, refabbed football stadium acting like a baseball stadium, which proves my point even more. Location. Nobody went to that park either. Okay. So I'm not sure like what your point is here. Like, I don't know what's going on, but if you're overall, and I was never comparing Little Havana, I was just talking about location is important. You're absolutely right. Little Havana is nothing like downtown St. Pete. So you're correct in that. But my point was location. And if your point is that St. Pete is a better place for this, I can tell you through 30 years and covering this team from its birth, I know exactly what these issues are all about. And all the growth in St. Pete is great. But let's remember this, 80% of the people polled in the League of Women Voters poll about the new ballpark when they were informed of the cost and all the particulars, 80% of it were against it. And those were Pinellas City of St. Petersburg voters. So there's no groundswell of all these great people in St. Petersburg that are moving into these high-rise buildings that they'll even go to the games. And it's proven for 30 years, almost 30 years, that Rays do not draw from Pinellas County. The people that are closest to the stadium do not go. This is a demographic fact. It is not opinion, it's a demographic fact. Most of the people that go to the games are from Hillsborough County. Overall, at the numbers that we were given at last time they were released, most of them come from Hillsborough County. So that's a problem. I've been told by people who do direct mail campaigns in St. Petersburg, who have done research on this topic, that half the people, the permanent residents in St. Pete, leave for the summer months because they have other places to go. So not only is it not a plus, and we've gone through these numbers a lot, many times, Ryan, and I'm sure you've heard them. 600,000 people, maybe now 650, maybe 675, live within a 30-minute drive of the Trop because it's surrounded by water. In Tampa, that number goes to 2.4 million people. And when you go to 45 minutes, an hour drive, when you're looking at much closer to Orlando, you're talking about an I-4 corridor that's 7 million people large. I mean, this is not, St. Pete is better than Tampa. It's none of that. It's not about what's fair. Oh, you have the Rays. I mean, you have the Lightning, you have the Bucs. We get that's not what it's about. It's not fair. It's about demographics. And if you want this team to succeed long term, where it's not sucking off the teat of Major League Baseball and getting revenue sharing, which is what the other owners are very interested in, not doing that anymore. There's no reason that a team in the 11th largest market with the 15th largest market 75 miles down the road should be getting revenue sharing money, unless your owner is manipulating the system and keeping the money, which is what is happening, which I'm sure one of your bosses will be very happy with your tweet towards me. It's fine. You work for them. I get it. I have no ill will towards you at all, Ryan. You're a great dude. Very handsome man. You do great work. But if you're going to come at me about this stuff, I'm just going to answer it with facts.
Yeah.
That is, you cannot make an argument that St. Pete is a better location for this team. It's just, it's objectively, numerically false. You don't put a huge entertainment district, which is what these folks want to build, and a baseball stadium that has 81 games a year, many of them midweek, Monday through Thursday, on an isolated peninsula that has 1/3 less people within a 30-minute drive. Again, it has nothing to do with who's better or who's building more. And I don't care how many towers you build in St. Petersburg, you're not going to affect the numbers that dramatically. That's going to change the equation that I just laid out. It doesn't work. You can have an emotional feeling about it. You could want to, since you live in St. Pete, right across from the Trop, you want I get it. I know you want it there. I would too. Absolutely. But what's best for baseball? Where does Major League Baseball want it? Tampa. Where does Stu Sternberg want it? Tampa. He said that many times. Where do the fans want it? Tampa. Where are the fans showing up? Tampa. I mean, it's just not. I don't know why you're coming at me here, but it's not a thing. Oh, and his friend Snook commented, "Totally agree, Ryan." I don't know what voice I should use for Snook as his profile. Let me check out his profile. Snook's from Clearwater. He joined in October 2019.
Oh, he's a new.
He has no followers.
Oh,
Zero.
Well, then he has no opinion then.
He has 0 followers.
Yeah.
And he's following 13. He's not following me, I don't think. And his
sounds like a burner profile to me.
Yeah, and his profile picture is theater entrance, puppet show, and Spinal Tap.
Yeah,
Whatever the hell that
means.
means.
Need to recognize his existence at all.
But no, he makes some very salient points that I wanted to bring up here. These are the people that are supporting Ryan's tweet. Said, totally agree, Ryan. Downtown SP may be the best metropolis in the Tampa Bay area. which, by the way, I don't disagree with. I mean, define best, right? What are we looking for? You're looking for restaurants, bars, cool places to listen to music. St. Pete's the best place, without question. So I agree with you, Snooky. But yeah, JP, he spelled it P-E-E.
Oh, I wonder if that was intentional.
Oh, I'm so insulted.
I think that was intentional.
All your followers are going to see this. Oh, he doesn't have any. JP,
He doesn't have any.
put it on the parking lot that is I-4, or maybe put the stadium under the giant Confederate flag. That would make you happy. No?
Oh my God, what are we doing here?
You calling me a racist? Is that what you calling me a racist?
What is your basis for JP being a racist, sir?
Or that giant Confederate flag, which I believe they took down, by the way. In case you didn't know, Snooky. Oh, as actual at is Hugh G. Rection.
All right, points for creativity.
Yes, that's good. So Ryan, this is your guy that's supporting you in your tweet. Hugh G. Rection. HUGH-G-RECSHIN. I didn't know I was going to get this much content out of this today, but thank you very much, Ryan.
Yeah, that's amazeballs right there.
Hugh G.
Congratulations, Hugh.
And old Hugh just calling me a racist.
Wow.
Oh.
Wonder if he's single.
UG? I don't know.
UG, are you single?
Oh my God.
Let's hear from you.
Oh, yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, there was a lot of stuff on Twitter last night about the stadium and everything else. So, yeah, very interesting. I don't understand why people get so nasty on Twitter though. We're just having a chat.
Keyboard warriors, man.
We're just having a chat, you
They're
know?
the absolute worst.
Yeah. So, God, there's a lot I want to get to here, but I'm going to go over at the break and then I'll bring it back to you so I don't just stammer here on the air. All right. So, want to get into a little bit of the Rays game last night. I have some thoughts. I got some thoughts on the shutout last night and this lineup against left-handed pitching. Oh. It's a little weird. So let's take a quick break. We'll come back on the other side. And the Rays lost 1-0 last night. And when they go against lefties, they basically take all their good hitters out of the lineup. Is that a good strategy?
I don't think so.
What are we doing? It's analytics. I get it. But anyway, so we'll talk about that. We are brought to you by the great folks at the Gold and Diamond Source. Julie and Steve Weintraub, great folks over there. Wish them all the best. They have got Hands Across Bay, by the way, have the fundraiser coming up. So good luck to that. We love all the things they do over there. It's a Mother's Day fundraiser, so we'll tell you about that as we move forward. But right now, it's Diamond Days. They got 20% off all their diamonds over there. They got a great sale going on. Remember, your diamond never loses its value. This is a really cool thing they do over there. You buy the diamond. You want to come, when you're young, you get the smaller ring. You can't afford a lot. That's cool. That's all good. Then as you get older, you bring it back and you upgrade your ring because your love for your spouse has been upgraded. Because she's put up with your ass for 5 years. She deserves a bigger ring. She deserves a bigger ring. So when you bring it back, you get full value for it. And that's a cool thing. So your love just continues to grow at the Gold and Diamond Source. Isn't that lovely? And they got a great men's section as well. Great watches, Rolex watches, new and gently used for great, if you want to do an investment with those things, that's a really cool deal. So go over there, check it out, all the cool stuff that they have at the Gold and Diamond Stores. Great local company, do so much in the community. We love them. 3800 Omerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. Back at 3. Hey, JP here for my concierge medical professional, Chris Lugo, PA. You've heard him on the show for a couple of years where he shares invaluable medical, nutritional, and supplement advice. With Chris, it's like having a medical provider as your best friend. What I love about this concierge service is the convenience and support he offers. I can text or call him 24/7 with any questions or concerns, and he'll promptly call in a prescription if needed. No office visits or copays required. It gives me peace of mind knowing I have someone genuinely invested in my health, not just focused on insurance profits. And the best part, the Bay Area Modern Medical Center's personal concierge service is more affordable than you might think. Don't let insurance companies dictate your health care. Take control of your health and wellness today. Visit BAMMC.com for more information and to schedule your initial free consultation. Empower yourself and take charge of your personal health with BAMMC.com. Diamond Days are back at the Golden Diamond Source, Tampa Bay's largest jewelry superstore. You know, I love Diamond Days because right now you can get up to 20% off all the diamonds in the inventory, including April's birthstone. Plus, you can take advantage of 0% financing for up to 5 years. This means that if you finance $5,000, your monthly payment would only be $83. Best of all, your Golden Diamond Source diamond never loses its value. And listen up, all soon-to-be newlyweds, here's your chance to win a $2,500 shopping spree at the Golden Diamond Source, along with a wedding cake for up to 100 guests, created by the renowned celebrity chef, The Cake Girl, as seen on the Today Show. Entering is easy. Simply visit the Golden Diamond Source on Omerton Road for your chance to win big. If you want your special someone to say yes, make sure it's a Golden Diamond Source diamond. Visit us at 3800 Omerton Road in Clearwater. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group and my man Scott Jeeves, who lives right here and has long been a highly respected member of our community. He's a proud sponsor of the Tampa Riverwalk. Jeeves Law Group is also a proud sponsor of our Grand Central District in St. Pete and has neighborhood events throughout the year. He has an office on Central Avenue in St. Pete and one on South Howard in Tampa. You can't get more local than that. So when you need an attorney, you're going to hire some huge firm that advertises all over the state or the one that supports your favorite sports show. It's the Jeeves Law Group. We're local, we're trusted, and we get results. For personal injury and personal attention, call us for a free case evaluation. That's 8889-JEEVES. That's 8889-JEEVES. Hey, Tampa Bay, it's time to get your AC unit ready for summer. And here at Third Generation Plumbing and Mechanical, we recommend getting ahead of the game, keeping your family cool before the hot summer months with one of our maintenance agreements in the hopes of avoiding the dreaded emergency service call. Our maintenance agreements include, we'll test the electrical components, check and tighten high and low voltage wire connections. We'll check the refrigerant for manufacturer's performance levels, test thermostats, calibrate if needed, clean the evaporator coil and condenser coil, and clear and treat the drain line and drain pans. Just call us at 813-961-8024 for the special rates, and a human will actually answer. 813-961-8024 or go to thirdgenerationplumbing.com.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the J.P. Peterson Show, brought to you by On-Site Construction and Restoration. Great folks over there. If you're looking to build a new home from scratch, they are a great option for that. If you're looking to add on to your home or do some restoration in your home because the people that you hired to do the hurricane stuff were not very good because they just started doing their jobs or they ripped you off, which is rampant in this area. Go to a trusted company. OnSiteConstructionFL.com is the website. You can look at all the jobs they've done, all their 5-star reviews. People absolutely love them because they get the job done on time, on budget, and it looks fabulous. Marvelous. OnSiteConstructionFL.com. That's where you go. And tell them JP sent you. If you're just thinking about it, they'll do a free consultation with you, kind of sit down with you and say, okay, here's what your existing house, what are you trying to do? They can give you some great ideas. That's just fun to do right there, right? So check it out, OnSiteConstructionFL.com. But don't call them unless you're like serious. Don't be wasting their time. See some of you people on the HGTV watching those shows. Yeah. All right. So before we get into some of these great comments here that our Ryan Bass tweet has initiated here.
Oh no, they're probably ruthless, aren't they? The
Some
best
are.
listeners in the world, man.
Yeah, they got my back, bro. Love you guys. Freaking love you guys. All right, so last night playing the Red Sox, they throw a left-hander out there, Sean Newcomb. He's a hoss, by the way, big old boy, and they get shut out last night. They get shut out because this left-handed lineup against left-handers, which I think is his first loss against left-handers. So, but the lineup just so you got Yandy leading off. You know, he's getting toasty, hitting home runs, but I'd sure rather him hitting home runs in the 2 or 3 hole or the 5 hole than the 1 hole. You know, leadoff home runs are great. You know, sets the tone, but it's one. if you're down in the lineup, guys on base before him get 2 or 3. It's pretty good math.
Yeah.
But analytics say he should get more at bats. Like Doug said the other day, it'll get him more at bats. And that's true, but it's by a marginal amount. You know, I'd rather have more critical at bats in the meat of the lineup.
Yeah.
Than, you know, just more at bats in general. Okay, great. You got more at bats, but did you produce as much as you could? You know, analytics are great, but I think 100 years of baseball, the way we grew up learning the game, I think there's something to be said for that stuff too. You know, when you score 16 runs in a game and your guys are toasty and red hot, just because they put a left-hander out there the next day or day after, you know, doesn't mean you should sit all your guys that are freaking raking, like Jonathan Aranda, who's leading the league in hitting. I think he's second now at 396, but he was leading the league in hitting. So you start Curtis Mead over him, sitting 167 in the 2-hole. 0 for 2 last night. Curtis Mead, 167 over Jonathan Aranda because Aranda can't hit left-handers. Really? He's hitting 400. And I know and the reason he's hitting 400 is because most of those are against right-handers. I get that. But, you know, guy leaves a mistake out over the plate. Doesn't matter if he's right or left. Good hitters are going to hit it.
Right.
And Jonathan Aranda is a great hitter. And I don't want him sitting every time we see a left-hander. Now, he got a couple at-bats last night because once the starter was out, he got 2 at-bats and went 0 for 2. So thanks for helping me with my argument, Jonathan Aranda, you knucklehead. But those were against right-handers. So maybe he would have been better against a left-hander. Coco Lopez. Coco Montez.
Now I want a pina colada.
Coco Montez. He started for Brandon Lau at second base. Now, Brandon hasn't had a great year, but he's starting to get toasty. He hit some seeds the other night in the 16-run game. Like, he's really getting toasty. And guys need more at-bats. You need more at-bats. Hitting 242, but you said Coco Montez up there, 0 for 2. He's hitting 200. So no Brandon Lau.
He's had just 10 at-bats
right.
the whole season.
Right, because he just got called up. But no Aranda, no Brandon Lau to start the game, and no Meisner, who's been smoking the ball. All right? He's been smoking the ball. So analytics say, all right, they have a better chance against left-handers. These guys do. Do they really? Coco Montez. Sorry. Couldn't resist. Pina colada, by the way.
Now I need a pina colada. Nobody knows what the hell we're talking about now, by the way.
Bartenders, you know it.
Bartenders know.
That stuff is good. So Coco Montez. I mean, what are we doing? We're getting shut out. That's what we're doing. I'm going to make a big deal out of this, but I'm getting really tired of the analytics. I really am.
So a couple of things here. Number one, and everybody knows that watches this show or watches me on any show, baseball's my favorite sport, and it's not by a little bit. This is my favorite kind of baseball game to watch.
A 1-0 game?
A 1-0 pitcher's duel. That is
You're just an odd person.
I'd rather see a 1-0 pitcher's duel, especially when that one run is scored like in the third inning, right? As we had the case last night, third or fourth inning, and then the pitchers just go at it. The pitching staffs go at it for the rest of the way. Then watch a 15-14 offensive battle in 10, right? Like, I would much rather watch the pitcher's duel. To me, that's way more exciting. I'm all about the drama, in any sport. To me, drama is what it's about. And when you have that, every single at-bat is important. The Rays didn't get a guy past second base all night. And as far as the lineup goes, when you've got this many holes in your lineup, I don't know that analytics should even come into play at this point.
Thank you.
This needs to be Kevin Cash he's got to have a gut feel for what his team is and who's good at doing what. And if you don't have those answers, it's, right now, I know it's still early. We're 18 games in. But if you don't have those answers, then you're going to have some guessing. But 18 games in, and you're going against a division rival, by the way, that you just scored 16 runs against on Monday. and then you drop the final 2, you've got to have a better feel for your team and just throw analytics out the window at this point until you can substantiate some of the analytical claims that those numbers are throwing at you. Because right now you can't.
Right.
And a lot of that has
they'll
to
point
do
to historically over the years, the numbers bear out. I'm like, yeah, but look at that lineup last night. I mean, Jiminy Christmas, it's a AAA lineup.
Yeah. It is. Well, they're playing in a AAA park, JP.
Shut up.
But you look at Littell.
Curtis Mead.
6 innings, 5 hits and 1 run. That should be a win every day.
Damn right.
He's 0-4 on the season. The Rays give him no run support.
Mm-hmm.
The Rays have scored 2 or fewer runs in 21 of his last 24 starts.
Right.
That is an issue.
You're
putting too much stress this early in the season on your pitching staff. He's not the only one. And this is going to come back to bite you, Kevin Cash, if you don't figure something out very quickly to get your pitching some run support.
I agree.
And I told you on Monday, Kevin Cash, I tried to call your beeper and page you to call me Monday during that game and save some runs for the rest of the series and save some runs for the Yankees coming up. And you didn't do it. You didn't listen to me.
Exactly. I'm trying to find. Will you find this for? Can you find out what Brandon Lau and specifically Brandon Lau and Jonathan Aranda are batting against left-hand pitching?
Yeah.
I tried to find that on Baseball Reference. How bad if they're going to not start? Like how bad are they against lefties? I think Aranda's pretty bad, but I mean I'd like to just know the numbers, like historically. I know they're not as good as they are against righties, but how bad are they against lefties? What's their?
I'm gonna have to find it.
Their splits. While I go through some of the comments.
Yeah.
Let's go to Okay. If you want to put the music up. National Kid Bump. John Hill says Lee Corso, fellow FSU, will retire from ESPN Game Day. Oh, did he announce that?
Yeah. Yeah, that's
right.
official.
Yeah, that's good. That's
Brandon Lau against left-handed pitching this season. He is 1 for 10 in 11 plate appearances against left-handed pitchers. He's batting 100.
What about historically?
Career?
Mm-hmm. Should have done this before the show, my bad. John Hill says, can Tim wear the mascot headdress this fall?
223 with 30 home runs and 86 RBIs in 544 plate appearances.
And his career average is about 240 or something.
It's about the same, yeah. And who was the other one, Yandy Diaz?
Jonathan Aranda. So the splits aren't even that different. I mean, they're less, but they're not that different. It's not worth putting a Curtis Mead, a 167 hitter in there, who's hitting 167 against lefties. He's hitting 230 against lefties.
Aranda is 0 for 4 in 7 plate appearances this season against lefties and for his career. He is 176, 4 of 32.
Yeah, and that's major league numbers. So I don't know what the minor league numbers are because he's made mostly minor league. And by his 170, that doesn't sound great, but he has not historically hit well in the major leagues. He's like got a 220, 230 average in the majors before this year.
That's 42 plate appearances with 14 strikeouts too against left-handed.
Yeah, he's not great, but he's better than Coco Lopez. No, Coco Lopez was playing for Brandon Lau. Mead was playing for him. Yeah. So I mean,
Aranda, yeah.
If he's a better hitter, like if the other guy you're putting in sucks, like he sucks. Curtis Mead sucks against any pitching. And where's
not be with the big club right now.
Yeah, where's the argument that he's better against lefties? Spring training?
Are any look? I don't watch post-game press conferences for the Rays. Is anybody asking Cash these questions?
No.
Are they throwing fastballs at Kevin Cash in these post-game press conferences? Or are they just like, what do you got to do to get better?
I mean, I'm not there, so I shouldn't complain about the question. Well, they won't let me be there.
You should try.
But no, I would like to why are you making these decisions? Like why are you benching them? No, I don't think those questions were asked. I don't know. I didn't hear the post game last night, but I'm sure those have been asked, but it comes back to analytics. No, in the long term, I don't know. If Jonathan Aranda is going to be your all-time first baseman, then he should let him learn to hit against lefties.
Yeah.
Let him play.
And you're going to have to suffer through that for a little while too. I don't know what the Rays hitting coach is like, if their hitting coach is worth a darn or anything, but he's got to have some accountability here too.
JP Bucks News, Broncos interest in Rashad White. Is that what you or a white fullback? They want Mike Allstott?
You want Mike Allstott?
Mike, by the way.
Is Tommy Vardell coming back into the league?
Quick Allstott story. So at the weekend, this weekend, we do a big cornball tournament. There was a big
What's
match.
cornball?
Oh, cornhole. I'm sorry, cornhole. Cornhole tournament. Did I say cornball?
It's cornball. I was like, what the hell is that?
I was thinking of somebody else.
We know.
So we're playing cornhole, and it was Allstott and Toby Hall, the usual champions, the 2 grand champions, former Rays catcher against Matt Grothe and Drew Garabo. What a great match! I got it all on video, but they won't let me post it.
No.
I've been.
Why you ask forgiveness, not permission?
No, because I would not do that to these great people that keep inviting me to this event, so I won't do it. But I can tell you the highlights. So they're getting down to and it's going back and forth. It was a great match, and Allstott goes get down to the end. I think they need 2 points. Slam dunk, doesn't hit the board. Boom. Right. Slam dunk again. Boom. And the third one, slam dunk again. Boom. And the fourth one comes up, hits the board, and comes up an inch short. He almost slam dunked 4 in a row.
Wow.
And I was like, Garabo, this is what happens when you get into an athletic competition with real professional athletes.
That's a ringer right there.
Even if they're hammered. And they're even better when they're hammered.
It's like going bowling.
When it's cornhole. Absolutely. I said, that's media guys. We can't compete, bro. That's what I was with Jason Manecki, and I let him down. I was terrible.
By the way, Johnny and I had a conversation yesterday. I think we're going to plan another trip to Tampa here in the next few weeks.
Yes.
We got to go to Columbus here for the memorial. We'll be up there. Plus, we'll be building out the new Columbus studio.
Oh, nice.
But I think after that, we're going to head to Tampa for a few days.
All right.
Train you a little bit in some studio equipment.
Yes, that would be
like
great.
That
would be great.
But I think so. Johnny's never been bowling. I think we need to have a company bowling night while we're in Tampa, and maybe invite a couple of
we'll go to
listeners to
Splitsville.
come hang out.
Yes, my good friend Guy Rebel owns Splitsville. He'll have us out there. Absolutely, that's a great place. Splitsville's awesome.
Love bowling.
Great food, bowling. Oh, it's so
that
good.
only came to mind because he said something about getting drunk and playing cornhole. That's like how I bowl.
Yeah. So we could do they have all the drinking games there. We could have a drinking games Olympics.
Oh, that would be so great.
Yeah.
And we'll roll tape on all of it, and it's gonna be great content.
So anyway, so they go to celebrate him and Toby Hall, and they do they try to do the chest bump. It didn't end well. I just say that. Poor Toby Hall. Hall got all started. He got all started.
Did he end up on the ground?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It was hilarious.
Allstott still knocking him to the ground.
I should get Garabo on the show and talk about it. It was so fun to watch. It was so fun. And here's the funniest story. I'm playing with the guys from Fuse Sunglasses, fuselens.com. Great sunglasses, by the way. Super guys. Hopefully a new sponsor soon. So I'm playing with these great guys, Brandon, Austin, all these super fellas. So one guy, I'll let him remain nameless so he doesn't get prosecuted. He's got a really good swing, but he was struggling. He couldn't get the ball off the ground. He was struggling. He hits the ball like a freaking rocket, but he was just like these like line drives like right on the ground. And it was bad. So we get to the ninth hole, and there's these 2 big geese, and they're little geeselings. And there's like 4 or 5 little geeselings. Is that what they're called? Geeselings? 2 geese and 2 geeselings, and they're in this pod, and it's like just to the left, about 50 yards out. And he's out lined up. I'm like, oh God.
Gosling. It's a Gosling. Ryan Gosling.
The geese and the little goslings are they're cute little furry things. And I'm like, oh my God, this might not end well. And I said that out. It was weird. We're just getting on this guy. He's poor guy. And so he hits one. Whoop up! And it's like, and it's going right at the big geese. I'm like, oh no! Oh, and it's gonna hit one of the little ones. And it would have, like that one of the little ones would have exploded. It would have exploded. And somehow, this ball finds its way like Sahith Thegal at the Masters who hit through that little it couldn't have been more than 6 inches wide.
Oh no!
Between the two little goslings, and it goes through, and we're all like, "Oh, thank God! Oh my God! Oh, it would have been horrible."
Animal control was going to have to come out, arrest somebody.
But wait, the story's not over.
Oh no!
He tees up another one, and we're all like, "Whoa, no!" He hits another one. And there were these two little other birds to the right, like little spoonbills,
Yeah.
Well, there's now a new species of spoonbill at Bardmore. It is the rare one-legged red spoonbill because one of his legs is a little floppy.
No.
He hits the ball, and it goes right at this bird. And it hits one of his little legs. It hits one of his little legs. And the little sucker's like, wah, wah, and he's running across the fairway. His little one, he's hopping on one leg, and his other leg is just like dangling, completely shattered.
Some people shouldn't play golf, JP. Oh my God!
I'm sorry, I'm laughing at poor bird. And then his little buddy, he goes across the fairway into the bushes, and his little leg is sitting, and his little buddy comes after him. He's like, "Oh my boy!" And he's like helping him get to the. He's like, and he's staying with him.
Oh no! He's loyal.
He's just sitting over there by the his little leg is dangling by the water, and his other buddy's like over there. And of course, I got to drive by in the cart and try to get a picture of it.
Oh my God!
I went over there to the base, and they're just sitting in their little cubby there, and the poor little thing had. So if you see the rare one-legged red spoonbill on number 9 at Bardmore, you will know where this species came from. Oh my God, that was.
Oh my God!
We're gonna get in a lot of trouble for laughing at that, but hey, could get eaten by an alligator the next day anyway. So
right, it doesn't matter.
But boy, that had to hurt. That poor little leg was just dangling there.
JB, that's almost as bad as the story that I have from high school when I had a car full of chicks that I was driving home after school.
Goslings.
And one of our roads that the girls lived on was next to a city park here in the colony, and there's ducks, right? Well, as I'm driving up the road, up the hill to the intersection, and I'm like 16, I'm trying to impress these chicks, so I'm driving my yellow Nissan Sentra station wagon faster than I should anyway. And as I start driving up the hill, I see this old lady and like her grandson sitting on the curb on the left side of the road, throwing bread at ducks across the street, like feeding them.
Right.
All the way across the street. And there's a little pile of ducks over there, whatever, eating the bread. They're not walking up to them. And the little kids, I'm speeding up there. I'm going to start to slow down because in case, whatever. The little boy tries to throw it, and it doesn't go across the street. It goes to the middle of the street because he's a tiny kid. And one of the ducks at the last minute darts out in front of me. And I swear to God, right before I hit him, he turned his head and looked at me and went, quack. And as I run over him, I look in my rearview mirror, and all the girls in my car were screaming bloody murder. I look in the rearview mirror, and there's just this duck, and feathers are going everywhere, and this is like tumbling over and over.
But he didn't die. But he didn't die.
I'm sure he was fine.
He was fine.
Right.
We're just laughing because he just merely a flesh wound.
Right in front of that poor kid that was probably scarred for life. Grandma, I'm never feeding ducks again. I swear to God, we're going to hell.
Oh my God. We're gonna have every bird group like the JP Peterson show. Quack. Ryan Bass will be leading the charge.
Yes, he will.
Bird killers!
You're not just racist, you're bird killers.
Racist bird killers who hate St. Pete. Jesus. You're terrible.
God almighty.
You're terrible, Tim, man. I can't believe you said that stuff. No, I'm still tearing up. Oh my God. All right.
I love animals. I really do.
Let's get a hold of this shenanigans going on here. Ryan Woodard says Heupel ain't taking someone from Golish. Oh, that's interesting one, Ryan. All right, yeah. Because they're good buddies. Good point, Ryan Woodard. Yeah. Excellent point right there. Keep your hands off our freaking quarterback, Josh Heupel. Or maybe he's calling Golish going, hey, is that kid any good?
Yeah, maybe Golish will give him someone who's not good.
All right, we already said that. Shut up, Rick. JP, the Uncle Rico of elementary school, lamenting in high school about his duck, duck, goose days. I was pretty good at duck, duck, goose, too. Yeah, I ain't going to lie. It didn't matter to the game. It did not matter to the game.
You just dominated, huh?
I dominated. Absolutely. Reached my peak in fourth.
Oh, jeez. Tommy Frazier.
No offense, just saying. What? No offense.
No offense.
No offense. Just saying. Offense taken, jerk. Yeah. Rick says location matters. Marlins over 500 and have less than 7K in attendance in 78-degree weather. The stadium location still sucks. It does. Although I did delve into a little bit more because I do my research, Ryan. I did call one of my favorite Marlins fans, the great Hugh Kerner, one of my great friends down there. And what do you think about FSU's new QB, Michael LaRue? I will tell you about that in just a second. So, and you know what the number one problem he said is ownership. Ownership, they have a problem down there because he's basically said nobody's going to go see a AAA team. No, I'm not driving. He actually said from Hollywood, it's not too bad. He can get down there in like 30, 45 minutes. If there's no traffic, which is rare. But on traffic times. And he said, because nobody's going to the game, it's parking. But he said nobody wants to go to the game because it's a AAA team and they're not investing in the team. And even though they're over 500, they're playing okay, but they're not long for it. They're going to trade all their superstars or Alcantara and whoever's good. Don't have superstars, but the good players they're going to trade off. So it's very much like Stu syndrome here. And I don't think, we talk about it all the time, but I don't think the media talks about this, the attendance problem. I say it all the time. One of the big problems is ownership. Nobody wants to support this guy, and they don't want to pay top dollar for seats, and they just don't. I mean, that's proven. And Major League Baseball should know that now. It's one of the big problems, and it's not just where he just said he can't get a stadium done. It's the way he runs the team. We get a new ownership. Imagine, Junior Caminero. This kid could be a slugger for the ages, maybe the greatest slugger that we've had in Tampa Bay. And instead of trading him away like we do every good player that we get, Longoria, we keep him. When under new ownership, we actually sign him to a long-term deal and he stays. How about that? How about that? Do you think more fans will show up if we keep our stars? What do you think, Tim? Anybody ever done that or tried that before? Like keep your good players and then they build a fan base? Has that ever been done before?
Seems like that's how you get fans attracted to your team and loyalty.
Really? You mean it's not about selling off your player? Oh, but look what we got in that trade. Yeah.
And you also attract other players who see that the team remains loyal to their players.
Interesting. That's a concept. How about that? Then you kind of like build a roster. Like you have like 6 good players in a row.
Yeah, it's called a culture of winning.
Wow. Interesting. I've seen the Lightning do that.
And it works.
It's been working. The Bucs the last few years, they sign their own players. Keep them.
Yeah.
How's that working? 4 straight division titles? Full house?
Interesting.
Maybe you're onto something there.
Nah, that never work that would never work in baseball, though.
All right. What do I think of the new quarterback? Are we talking about Castellanos? in Guess Malzahn's offense.
What about O'Neal? I thought O'Neal was coming to FSU.
Who's that?
O'Neal, the kid from Oklahoma that's committed to Oklahoma, but he's got a visit with at FSU in June, scheduled in June.
I did not. I'm sorry, I did not know.
Yeah, I'll have to go back and see who that is. I
didn't ask Director Alford about that last night. But they're already committed to Castellanos in this offense. Although, there's reports, even though the media can't really see practice, that Brock's been doing pretty good and pushing Castellanos. And they've got the kid, your kid from Plano there, Sperry.
Yeah,
Sperry's been doing real well. There's a lot of really good stuff about him. And he's a runner, right? He can run. Yeah. So I think they've got some good stuff working in the pipeline. Absolutely. And just talking to Director Alford last night, he's really bullish on his team. He really thinks Mike's done a really good job. The coach, he pointed to the coaching staff. He said Malzahn, Tony White, I believe is the new defensive coordinator, loves these guys, and they're doing great things. They said we needed that change. We needed to start developing players. And he's 100% right. I mean, this is a much better coaching staff than the one that Norvell brought from Memphis. It's light years ahead of it, and I think that's going to be a huge upgrade. Rick says, "Who's Ryan Bass?" Ryan Bass, he's a sideline reporter.
Yeah.
Michael Lewis says, David, the Rays lost because they didn't score. It's hard to win when you don't score. Once again, solid concept. Put people in the lineup that can hit. More Right Brother said, I wonder what the idiots think about the vaccine now. Most healthy athletes in the world are dropping like flies.
Not just the athletes.
Yeah, facts.
By the way, JP, I was talking about Jaden O'Neal, who is apparently a 4-star recruit for the class of 2026.
Oh, yeah, class of 26. Yeah, Jade, that guy. Yeah, no,
that's what I was reading about.
Recruiting has been good. Has been good. I saw something where one of these clickbait things is like, FSU recruiting class #1 in the nation. I'm like, what? Click on it. The 2027 class has 4 recruits, and they're now named #1.
Yeah, with 4 recruits
for 2027. I'm like, all right, well, better than nothing. Be dead.
Good news is good news, right?
Right. Thomas Casper says St. Pete is booming with shuffleboard and crematoriums. Miami sells out soccer to the max. If Marlins want to sell tickets, it cannot be a mediocre experience. The Marlins need elite club experience. See, that's the thing in Miami that I know this as well. They're front runners. They're front runners in Miami.
Yeah.
If you're good and you're winning, then the stars start showing up, right? The pretty people start showing up. Miami is a LA wannabe. And if, when the Heat are doing great, everybody's at the arena, right? Everybody's there. Got to be seen. Got to, drive, valet park your Lamborghini up front. It's a thing. It's more, and then, the Dolphins are doing well, like back in 1972, I think was the last time. Everybody, the University of Miami, when they're good, that people come out of the woodwork. And when they suck, nobody shows up. So if the Marlins want it, you got to get stars to bring people into it's got to be the place to be. And that ain't the place to be with a bunch of AAA guys nobody's ever heard of. They're not going to sell any tickets. And that goes to what? Ownership. I think location too. I mean, if you put that stadium in the middle of the market. Now, if it's still a AAA team and you have it in downtown Fort Lauderdale on the New River, it's not going to draw. You got it. You got to have an ownership that's trying to win. Nobody wants to see AAA teams. Sorry. It's not a thing. So location is important. Absolutely. Location is really important. But look at the Rays. They've won, but they don't draw. So, that more than anything says, maybe it's location. Maybe it's the crappy trop. And, they got great bars and restaurants. They ain't playing ball at, downtown at the pizza place or the beautiful restaurants. They're playing at the trop. Nobody wants to go. Tim here, Stadium St. Pete, and his eyes start to roll back into his head to have a fight with the urge to sleep. Shut up, Rick. I think this show is incredibly entertaining.
It has been today.
David Terry, says Rick, whatever the hell that means.
I don't know.
I miss sideline reporter Kelly Nash, says Cody. Yeah, sorry, Ryan. if you got to be compared to Kelly Nash,
you're going to lose every time.
You're a handsome man. I ain't going to lie. But Kelly Nash was easy on the eyes.
Still is.
Maybe Ryan should go up in the upper deck and try to pick up a couple of hotties like that Braves reporter.
That's still a great bit.
Maybe not. Michael LaRue says Ryan Bass does a good job, but he seems like a tool. Whoa, Michael. Wears a full suit during a 90-degree day game. I miss Todd Callis. Now we're comparing him against Todd Callis and Kelly Nash.
Poor guy didn't stand a chance.
No chance there. Wow. Yeah. Sorry, Ryan. Here we go.
Rick.
Here we go.
Oh, Rick.
JP. That's now how you're going to spell it now, Rick? I thought you had my back. Shots fired, JP. Two E's. That's why I'm not on social media. I'm allergic to stupidity. I break out in sarcasm. I would probably be blocked.
Shots fired.
You would be, yeah, Rick. I don't know. You'd be kind of fun on social media. I'd like to see that.
Good God.
Ryan was in diapers in Miami, Thomas Casper says, when we were drinking beer at the first Lightning Stanley Cup. Man, you guys, come on. Go easy on Ryan. I like Ryan.
No, don't. I'm loving this.
You guys are mean. B says MLB is becoming minor league. TikTok, Fortnite, Minecraft have taken over kids' lives. Nobody cares about baseball, especially Tuesday or Wednesday night. Red Sox game tickets available after game started on Wednesday.
I do. I care. I mean, I'm not a kid.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. You're not the demographic.
I tried to play Fortnite once.
Yeah, that Fortnite, man. And, it's shame on those people at Fortnite. Let me say something to you.
Here we go.
Let me say something to you.
Pull the music down.
Mofos. You're going to get these little kids that are 8 and 9 years old, and then you're going to tell them they need a little skin. Like for $10, you can have this new skin and new weapon that will make you play the game better and look cooler. That is so not fair.
And then 3 days later, they tell them they need another one.
Exactly.
And 3 days later, they need 2 of them because
Exactly.
they're limited edition and they're going to get rid of them.
Exactly. They're 9-year-old kids.
Oh, that's my life right now. My 16-year-old kid.
16-year-old kids. Like
Dad, I need the skin. What does it do? Does it make the game better? No, it just makes me look cool. He wants to ask me for $20.
Yeah.
He wants to ask me for $20. I mean, I ended up giving it to him because he earned it. Because he wanted to put a pair of Air Jordans.
There you go.
On his Fortnite thing that was the alien creature from the movie Alien. And he put Air Jordans on them.
Well, that's a lot of Air Jordans because he got a lot of tentacles. Is it more than one shoe? Like, is it like 18 shoes on each tentacle?
I think it was just the 2 legs.
Oh,
but I was like, does it make you run faster? Does it make you slam dunk like Mike? He's like, no, it just looks cool.
I mean, but seriously, which families don't have this kind of money to keep throwing this after this garbage? And the kids are like, oh, I mean, that's bad. I know
We're all drunk.
It's got to be great business, though. I get it, but man, that's just not cool. It's just not cool. Michael LaRue says St. Pete Times employees want the stadium built in St. Pete. Oh, shocking development. B says, who does Ryan Bass work for? He works for the Rays. He's their sideline reporter, man.
Exactly. I think that's his point.
Yeah. Oh, I get it. Duh.
Yeah.
My bad. Rick says, I just looked up Ryan Bass. He looks like an ex-boy band member who couldn't sing or
tambourine and sunglasses.
Come on, guys. He's a nice guy. He's a good-looking fella. I don't know what's wrong with you guys.
That's that story. Let's move on to the next story.
B says Pinellas St. Pete's starting to explore a convention center on the Trop site. I thought you said they were restoring the Trop. They're going to spend $600 million to make it look really cool. Unless it can levitate and move its ass over to Tampa. That's a waste of money. That's a waste of money. Rick says Coco Lopez was a staple in my parents' house. It was.
As it should have been.
Coco Lopez is awesome. Can't hit worth a damn, though.
No.
Pimp sports more than ever are just entertainment these days. Competing against Savannah Bananas, pitchers duels are bad for business. It's not 1960s. Yeah, I was going to say this to you. Like, if it's Randy Johnson against Roger Clemens in a 1-0 game, I'm all for it.
Sure.
But when we, like last night's game, when the pitchers are, let's call Clevenger, Englert, and Orza against Whitlock, Slayton, Weissert, and Newcomb, like it sounds like a freaking law firm instead of like great pitchers.
I get
that's
it.
Not great pitching. That's shitty hitting.
I get it that I'm in the minority here. That's just my favorite kind of game to watch. I don't care if you have 9 combined pitchers.
If there's 2 great pitchers going at it, I agree. But when it's a bunch of, AAA guys I've never heard of, and I know these guys aren't all AAA, but these guys, they're a bunch of relievers you've never heard of, and we're mixing and matching, that's not as compelling. Fair?
I understand that.
Okay. All right.
By the way, I hated Roger Clemens his entire career. So
Clemens is great. By the way,
he's a long one.
How about ESPN dumping Major League Baseball and then signing the Savannah Bananas? ESPN's going to be carrying Savannah Banana Baseball, but they won't carry Major League Baseball. And I'm not saying that's the right thing to do. I'm just saying if I'm baseball, I'm
questioning things.
A little concerned about my sport.
Look, this is not the days of Sunday night baseball with Joe Morgan and who's the play-by-play guy now? I'm drawing a blank.
Shambi?
No.
Who was it?
Before him.
Carl Ravitch?
No. Damn it.
I would go back to Joe Morgan and who's the guy from the Giants? He was great.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Remember it was Joe Morgan and
John Miller.
Ryan Miller, yeah.
John Miller, yeah. Dude, those were the days.
John Miller, boy, did he have some pipes.
He did. He was a Rangers announcer for a while.
John Miller, yeah. John Miller was very sing-songy, though. Welcome to Candlestick Park. Yeah, but the great old baseball announcers love it.
What are you doing these days? When you bring him back?
Tim said, Ryan Bass asked Kevin Cash if the players got their snow cones after the game.
Oh, jeez.
Does that even mean?
Sprinkles are for winners.
Sprinkles are for winners. That's fantastic. David Terry says poor Spoonbill became a yard darn. He did. His leg exploded. I'll never forget that little thing hopping on one leg and the other one was just kind of trailing behind. Just shot.
And then he got eaten by an alligator the next day.
He probably did. Don't worry, a gator just got it easy. He couldn't take evasive action because he was a one-legged spoonbill.
And he can't fly yet. That'd be a rough landing even if he could.
Oh, God. Rick says, Ryan Bass thinks you should have relocated that bird to St. Pete. He has been relocated.
It has.
Sergio Bilter said, how do I get a shirt? I'm always coming on, guys. I'm always coming, guys. You can pay for one. We have it in the merch, right? The merch.
You got them in the merch. Yeah, fanstreamsports.com and then hit the merch button at the top.
Sergio, you haven't been around lately. If you want to be the fan of the month, you're going to have to try a lot harder. That's all I'm saying. Up your game, Serge.
Or next time JP is out at Riveters,
yes,
he may bring a little contingent of hats and shirts with him.
I did that last time, yes.
And maybe hand a few out if you come see him at Riveters.
That's right. Absolutely. That's what they're for. But you got to earn them because I'll give you we had a password.
Yeah, answer a trivia question.
With the password. Yeah, Joe came up, said, all hail Rory, and he got himself a hat.
There you go.
That kid turned out to be Jeffrey Dahmer.
Which kid?
I'm not
sure. The
sure.
kid that I ran over the duck in front of, probably.
Yeah, but right. Ooh.
Yikes.
Christopher Colt says Peter doesn't watch the JP show. I tell you what though, one of my best bits ever, Timmy, true story. So, we had the raised tank at the Forlorn Trop now. And there were balls flying into the raised tank way out, but rarely, and right center field. I mean, you had to hit about 430 and dunk it right in the tank, but it would happen like every, 25, 30 games or so. And it would splash down into the water. Right. So PETA, they were incensed.
I remember this.
The damage that you're doing to these, Ray could be killed. could be killed by a baseball, and you have him in captivity in this tank. So I said, oh, my God, I got to get this guy on the show. So I brought him on the show. I think actually it was a lady. She's very sweet. And I was like, out in the wild, these stingrays, when they're out in the ocean, they're often eaten by great white sharks. So if I'm going to go, let me take a Aubrey Huff Rawlings to the back of the fin as opposed to getting eaten by Jaws. I said, don't you think if what I'm said this with a straight face, I'm like, don't you think if you asked the ray, how would they rather die? By spending their golden years in a nice tank where everybody's petting them and feeding them.
And they're the center of attention.
Center of attention. You're made famous.
Being fed very well.
Being fed very well. Or out in the wild, having Jaws take a chunk out of your right fin. I said it just like she goes, well, being in the wild is their natural state. So if they do die that way, that's the way nature intended it. It's cruel to keep them in captivity. I said, have you ever asked them?
Have they ever complained to you?
And she started laughing. Have you ever asked them? Do you know? How do you know? How do you know? How do you know that ray would not rather be in that tank than out in the wild?
What's even better? Go ask all the rays that are in the ocean.
Get into the beach. What?
Ask the ones in the ocean if they'd rather be in the tank. That's what you should be doing.
Exactly. Have you interviewed either one? What proof can you bring forward that you know that's a better? Because if I'm a ray, feed me, caress me. I'll take my chances with the odd fly ball. And you know what? It ain't going to hurt him anyway. Damn ball. It probably gets about 6 inches deep. The damn things are probably lower than I ain't getting hit.
No,
but you know what they did? But you know what they did? They put a net over it.
Did they really?
They put a net over it so none of the balls will get in there. How freaking stupid.
For 4 balls a year that might manage to.
We gotta have a net. We gotta have a safety net.
JP, I can remember like in the 70s going to the mall here in Dallas. They may have had these in South Florida too where you were, but we'd go to the mall and you'd be walking through the mall and there'd be this little kiosk of animals doing tricks with a trainer. You'd have little mice playing basketball. You'd have a little squirrel being pulled on a skateboard or by a remote controlled truck going around the thing. Yeah. Where was PETA back then? What were they doing?
They were being offended by something else, I'm sure.
Those animals were living the life, man.
Like they are now. So, yeah.
They don't have those anymore. I remember telling my kids, like, when I was little, before I got my Atari in 77 or whatever, I would beg my mom on the weekends to take me to the mall because I want to go watch the little mice play basketball for a couple of hours.
That's pure entertainment.
And they would keep score. It was awesome. They would keep score. It was awesome. It's like watching the Puppy Bowl now.
This show is completely off the rails. All right, let's take our final time out here. Our sponsors was tell you what, it's been one of our best shows ever. Numbers are through the roof. All right. Ryan Bass's entire family's watching.
Yes.
You guys, stop being mean to Ryan. I like Ryan. All right, quick break. When we come back, I'm going to finish up with these comments because you guys are just killing it today. Absolutely hilarious. And we're also going to talk a little bit about the Panthers and the Lightning. A little preview coming up. Of course, the Lightning have the Rangers tonight. I'm not sure who's playing tonight. Or, God, please don't put Kucherov on the ice. We'll do all that. We are brought to you by the great folks at Cafe Paradiso. Saw Paulo the other day. Would have loved that dude. Listen, if you have not had a great meal lately, and especially some of these new Italian restaurants, these new age, you want a traditional Italian, there's my man right there, where they do like chicken marsala and veal parmesan and the lasagna right there, the branzino, which is a sea bass, all of that stuff. Look at that setting, the white tablecloth, the service, the waiters speak Italian, they look Italian, they sound Italian. It's the best. You want a full immersive meal, Cafe Paradiso. I've been there for over 30 years, right there on South McDill. Get yourself open table rate number 3. Treat you honey. to a great meal, and you'll have some fun there as well. Tell them.
And your girlfriend.
Yes, take them all. Back in 3, same time.
Ciao, Paolo Tini here, owner of Caffè Paradiso, voted number 3 People's Choice Award on Open Table. I want to thank all our loyal family of customers that have been enjoying our great traditional Italian dishes we make from scratch every day. It's a great family story we're proud of. Our family moved from Rimini, Italy in 1984. My dad, Caesar, started Donatello, and that's where I got the start in the restaurant business. I started Caffè Paradiso on South McDill in 1995, and we've been there ever since. From our traditional ossobuco, a veal slow roast for 4 hours, to our daily fresh catch, the Gruppo Paradiso, with a piccata sauce and lobster claw meat, homemade pasta like lasagna, farfalle salchicha, which is a bow tie pasta homemade with fresh sausage. Hold on a minute, JP's favorite.
I love it.
So come and have a glass of wine with me on South McDill. Get a reservation on Open Table and see all our 5-star reviews. Ciao, see you soon at Paradiso.
JP here for Riveters, the official sports bar and grill of the JP Peterson Show. We're located just south of Ray J and Steinbrenner Field, so it's a great pre- and post-game spot, and the happy hour is amazing. Monday through Friday, 3 to 7. Check out these specials. $3 Bud Light drafts, $4 domestic bottles, $5 wells, $6 premium wells, $6 cocktails like margaritas. It's unheard of. And the Riveters food is freshly made daily. No freezers. Happy hour food specials include $3.50 tacos and barbecue sliders. $6 you get edamame or chips with the beer cheese, which is amazing. $8 buffalo chicken dip, my favorite. The truffle fries, chili cheese fries, also $8 at happy hour. As well as other specials throughout the week, including Taco Tuesdays, you get $3 tacos, and Wing Wednesdays, 7 o'clock to 1 a.m. in the morning, you get our amazing wings, 5 for $5 and $5 wells and wines. That's a good Wednesday night. So if you're tired of the preppy, overpriced, generic sports bars, come see the amazing, friendly bartenders and staff at Riveters, where customer service really matters. Riveters, just south of where the Rays and Bucs play. We'll see you there. Summer is coming. Do not get caught with your unit unprepared. Your AC unit, of course. The awesome folks at Third Generation Plumbing and AC have a special going on right now. You get a free 1-year maintenance package with any purchase of a new unit. They have special 60-month financing as well, so you don't need a huge chunk up front. Third Generation has an impeccable reputation built over 30 years of doing business. They do plumbing, AC, mechanical work, anything you need around the house. They are trusted folks. Go to the website and read the 5-star reviews. Deidre said, great company that always arrives timely. We have used them for our AC both in home and business and have been very happy. The staff is knowledgeable and professional. I would recommend Third Generation again and again. So give Third Generation a call at 813-961-8024 or go to thirdgenerationplumbing.com.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by Third Generation Plumbing and Mechanical and AC. They'll do anything around the house you need, and they're great folks over there. John Rodriguez is the owner. We love him, good supporter of the show, and he'll make it right. You know, there's a local company. Something doesn't go right, you call him. He answers the phone, says, we'll make it right. We'll get it right. And that's all you want, man. With the AC, plumbing, anything around the house, you want somebody to come over there and give you an honest job for an honest price, right? You don't want to get ripped off. And that ain't happening at Third Generation Plumbing. Go read their 5-star reviews. Great folks over there. thirdgenerationplumbing.com is the website. Reach them through there. They got a great special going on right now to get your unit tuned up for the summer. So go to thirdgenerationplumbing.com. Tell them JP sent you. All right, so the Lightning are at the Rangers tonight. Completely meaningless game for both teams. So not really going to concern ourselves about that. Just get through this without any injuries. That's what we're looking for. All right. So as we look ahead to the Florida series, check this out. Check out some of these numbers. The Lightning are first or second in goals scored, have been most of the year, top 3. Mm-hmm. They are third in goals against now. Third.
Oh, wow. That's improved.
They're the only team in the league with those kind of numbers at the top. Their penalty kill and the penalty and their power play are both top 6. I mean, those are outstanding numbers. You know, as you look forward to it just doesn't get any better than that. So why are the Lightning not the favorite? It's a good question. It's a great question. When you look at the analytics and look at these numbers, and you still have, all the pundits out there. They're like, everybody's picking the Panthers. I don't, maybe because they're the defending champs, but I mean, look at this team. It is a really not even close to what they had last year. Not even close. Kachuk, we don't even know if he's going to play. I don't think he's going to play.
Doesn't seem like it.
If he plays, it's going to be the first time since the Four Nations. So that's got to be, how good can he really be? Yeah, throw his weight around. You can always do that. And this is the team in the Panthers that led the league in hits, almost 30 a game. The Lightning were at 17 a game. I mean, they led the league in penalties taken or penalties as well.
Yep.
So they're going to try to get you into a street fight. And the Lightning have to keep their cool, meet the intensity. I'm not saying you don't fight back, but you got to meet the intensity, but don't get drawn into that game. Don't get, I love the boxing analogy for this because, it's like Sugar Ray Leonard against Marvin Hagler, right? Hagler's going to come at you like a bull in a china shop, and he's just going to try to beat the hell out of you and not run away. Whereas Sugar Ray's going to, he's going to pick his spots, go around like Muhammad Ali used to do against Joe Frazier. When Muhammad Ali was going against Joe Frazier, I can beat Joe Frazier. I fight like a bull.
Such a great time.
And that's what Ali would do. He would dance all around, and he had power too. Now Muhammad Ali was 6'3", 225 pounds, and chiseled. And when he hit you, you knew it. He knocked your ass out. But it was the speed and the tactics, and that's what this is. This is Joe Frazier against Muhammad Ali. And yeah, Frazier will beat your ass every now and then, but you can't just sit in the middle of the ring and go toe to toe with them. You got to pick your spots. You got to move. You got to be quick. And then when you see counter punch, bop, 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 take them down. And that's what I love about this. It's a great contrast in styles. Yeah. And the Lightning will have their home ice advantage. I still don't think we have the games scheduled yet, but I'm guessing we'll start on Sunday against the Panthers. Fourth time in 5 years. They'll be going at it.
Here's a little premonition for you here, as you just mentioned. So this is the third time in the last 4 years that they'll have met in the postseason, right? Each time the winner of that series went to the Stanley Cup Finals.
I thought it was 4 and 5, but whatever, same thing.
Going back farther, it may have been. I just went that far back. But also, one of these two teams has represented the Eastern Conference in the Stanley Cup Final in the past 5 years.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. 5 years. Yeah, how about
Tampa
that?
Bay went, from 20 to 22.
Essentially, this is the Eastern Conference Finals in the first round.
Yeah. I mean, the winner of this series could be your Eastern Conference representative. I mean, if history repeats itself. So
yeah, and I think that's very much the case here as well. Because Toronto. Look, I know they swept the Lightning. I get it, but until they do it in the playoffs, and I did beat them in the playoffs a couple years ago. I get it. But this Toronto team remains to be seen that they have until Austin Matthews wins anything. He had a chance to win the Four Nations.
Yeah. Oops.
Yeah. We got cups here. These guys have won cups, and I think that makes a difference. And so is Florida. They know what it takes. They know what it takes. That's why I think this is basically the Eastern Conference Finals. It sucks because somebody has to lose this first round, as somebody has to lose in the Dallas-Colorado series.
Yeah.
That's just part of it. It's just part of it. But I'm
the way they do the seedings now, and I hate it.
They do. All right. You had a note about Cam Brate.
Yeah. So Cameron Brate, of course, longtime Buccaneers tight end, 9 seasons in the league, all in Tampa Bay after being an undrafted free agent out of Harvard.
Great guy, by the way.
Super dude. Was on a podcast recently. I forgot whose podcast it was, but Gronk was on it as well as a guest. So we had Brate and Gronk, of course, teammates in Tampa. And I think Gronk and him, it wasn't asked by the hosts, but Gronk and he started to kind of talk about that 2022 season somehow.
Oh, yeah.
And, that was Brady's last year. He'd already checked out. You mentioned the whole training camp debacle with Brady leaving camp.
Yeah.
Was not a great, right. It was not a great season for the Bucs.
Jiu-jitsu instructor.
Oh, Apparently, they're living happily ever after.
But they weren't ever fooling around. Remember?
No, it was after. It was after the divorce.
When I dare mention that during the season, or that was it, that people, how do you don't know?
It was all after the divorce.
Jiu-jitsu destruction. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. What do they know? But it was interesting because Brait brought out, and remember, this was the season, the Bowles' first season as the head coach there after Arians was unceremoniously forced into retirement
by Brady.
Yeah, who then didn't give a crap the rest of the year. Allegedly. That's why I did air quotes on that retirement. And then you had part of the team, still Team Arians, pissed off that Arians wasn't there. Then you had the other half of the team trying to make it work with Bowles and still just working towards it. Brady had a bad year. You go 8-9. You still win the division, but you get bounced by the Cowboys in the first round in Brady's last game, his only game he ever lost against the Cowboys in his career. So Brait came out and said that very candidly, about halfway through the season, the entire team had just checked out. They were done with football, was his quote. That the entire team was done with football was his quote. Through that season, halfway through that season. And it kind of showed. I mean, obviously Brady was done. He didn't give a crap.
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad. And we were talking about this during the season, by the way, because it was evident to everybody, and the information I was getting was exactly that. And we were talking about this team is completely dysfunctional. It's dysfunctional, and that's the word I remember very well using that word mid-season.
Yeah,
completely dysfunctional. The way that was handled, and everybody wanted to celebrate it. Oh, Arians wants to ride off into the sunset. Right. He doesn't want to coach Tom Brady a year after he threw for 45 touchdown passes. Okay.
Right.
Okay. Sure. He can't wait to get to play golf at the Plantation. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
And then Todd Bowles is going to be installed as the coach. No coaching search. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. And you can, and listen, I don't think the Glazers had much choice, to be quite honest. This is Brady's revenge for not trading him to the Dolphins like he and his wife wanted, in my opinion. So he came here and he was going to play one more year, just, and try to put it together. But things just started to crumble, and he could never get it together. As we talk about the camaraderie on this team with Baker Mayfield as the leader, through the roof. It's unbelievable. You compare this team to that team was ridiculously fractured, super talented, but then you had AB doing AB things, running off the field, that tomfoolery. It was chaos. It was complete dysfunction. And then you had Brady wouldn't even support Arians. Or was that the year before? That was the year before that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Remember when Arians basically tell him to sit on the bench because he wouldn't go in the game. And then after the game, Brady didn't even support Arians. I was like, ooh, that ain't good. You just support AB over Arians. That was bad. And then the next year, of course, that was the fracture between Brady and Arians. Right. And then Arians says, yeah, if Tom wants to go to the Dolphins, give us 5 first-round picks. Sure.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, we'll trade him.
Classic move.
Yeah. And then, then he's like, oh, okay. So if I have to come play then I'm just going to retire. No, you're not. We're going to call your bluff.
Yep.
Okay, I'm not going to retire, but I ain't being coached by Arians. All right, whatever. But yeah, that's no surprise.
Dysfunction is the correct word for that season.
Total dysfunction. This team, Camp Kumbaya, baby.
Yeah.
We'll do it again. Year 2, year 3.
And for all the crap we give Todd Bowles, I still think he's a little bit responsible for that. I mean, not for the Kumbaya. Well, he is for the Kumbaya, but for the culture that's been here for the past few years with the closeness of the team, the tight knit of the team, for all of that. I give him a little bit of credit for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I probably give him more than you do.
Absolutely. No, he gets credit for that. Absolutely, he does. No, I love Todd Bowles. I just, his game management has not been good.
Yeah.
I think his defense is too complex. And I think he should simplify it. And so that's just me. That's my thoughts.
Sure.
He's won division titles. I think the world of him. Great dude. I just wish he would win more one-score games and be more aggressive.
It's a new season, JP. We'll see what happens. He's got a game manager now.
He got a game manager. Yeah. Give him full credit for that. I'm hoping it all goes extremely well. But this roster is going to be Super Bowl ready. They stay healthy and they manage games the right way and be aggressive and stay aggressive. And he's been more aggressive as the years have gone on. He's gotten, and this game manager hopefully will get him to that next level. They're in a great position. They're in a great position, and he's a huge part of it. Of course he is. No question about it.
Yep.
We'll see how it goes, and I cannot wait for this season. It's going to be super fun. And Jalen Ramsey, no thank you.
No, nobody's interested in that.
Not interested in that. All right, boy, that was one hell of a show. No guests today, just us being stupid and our great commentators. Thank you very much,
Great
Ryan
listeners.
Bass, for the content today. That was great. We love you. I hope you know it's all in good fun, bro. It's all in good fun. Don't get all mad. It's all in good fun. You do a great job. You got a great job. Good for you. And
you're welcome to come on anytime you want to talk about it.
Yes, absolutely. You want to
Civilized conversation.
Yeah, you want to debate St. Pete being a better location? Come on, absolutely. We'll do that very respectfully. We'll have some fun with it. I'd love to have you on. Anytime. You know, the guys, I love those guys. The whole crew's fantastic. So anyway, thank you guys. We'll be back tomorrow. I don't know what we got on the schedule for tomorrow, but it'll be fun.
It's a fun-filled Friday on the JP Show.
Hey, here come the Yankees, baby.
Yep.
Here come the Yankees, and they're going to fight over the locker room.
Which one do they want?
They're going to have a dressing room showdown between Aaron Judge and Coco Lopez. Who's going to win that one?
Lopez.
Have a great day, everybody. Love you. See you tomorrow.